How's it going, everyone? We've got the Extended Play PlayStation Store sale running right now, as well as the Mega March sale. We'll once again look at the deals under $10 from the Extended Play sale first, as that is the nearer sale, but that is going to be lasting a little bit longer. The Mega March sale is actually ending in a couple days, so if you want any of the deals from that sale, you should jump on those as soon as possible. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. So, with that being said, let's get right into it, and let's get started once again with a couple of Yakuza titles. Now, this time around, we're going to mention a couple of Yakuza collections. The Yakuza Origins Digital Bundle is a killer way to get into the franchise. For $9.99, it gets Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are remakes of Yakuza 1 and 2, and Yakuza 0, of course, is a prequel to Yakuza 1. A fantastic game, but Yakuza 0 was initially a PlayStation 3 game, and Yakuza 1 and 2 remakes of PS2 games. So from a technical standpoint, just keep your expectations in line, but all the games are fantastic. Really good storytelling, really great characters. And obviously with the Origins Digital Bundle, a good sequential way to play through the games. And then you also do have the Yakuza Remastered collection. This includes Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 are the games that once you get to this point in the series, I feel like is where a lot of people fall off in sequentially trying to play through all of the titles. Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 do show their age because these are, earlier PlayStation 3 games. Yakuza 3, I can't remember when it came out, but I want to say it was like 2009 or 2010. It was a while ago, so just keep that in mind. Yakuza 4 and 5 have some quirks to them as well, so, it is what it is, but if you want to go through all the games, it's a pretty good way to add those 3 games to your collection as well. And then after these 3, Yakuza 6, you got Like a Dragon, you got all that good stuff, so there's a lot of titles to go through. And at the very least, I would definitely check out the Yakuza Origins Digital Bundle. That's really the star here. Next up, we got Control Ultimate Edition, 75% off for $9.99. People think it's wild that I say this, but I still think Control is Remedy's best game that they've put out. I liked Alan Wake, of course. Alan Wake 2 didn't click with me as much as it did for a lot of other people. And hey, if you enjoyed it, more power to you, but just wasn't my cup of tea. Control, on the other hand, I really enjoyed it from a gameplay standpoint. The visuals are great. Yes, the story is still that trippy Remedy fare that, can get a little bit confusing, but by the end of it, you kind of figure it out, and I thought it was a worthwhile game. The Ultimate Edition also runs and looks really good, has the DLC, all that good stuff, so $9.99 for Control Ultimate Edition. Think that's a pretty good pickup. Next up, we have Metro Exodus Gold Edition, 85% off for $5.99. Now, obviously, I would recommend you to play Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light first. The Metro Saga Bundle, unfortunately, not on sale right now, but if you've already played the Metro Redux Collection, well, then you should check out Exodus Gold Edition. It is my least favorite of the 3 Metro games, but that doesn't really say much. That's like, the BioShock games or some of those other trilogies that all 3 of the games are really good. Batman Arkham, all 3 games are really good, and saying one is weaker than the others, yeah, whatever, maybe you disagree on it, but it's not an indictment on the game. Exodus is still a very atmospheric first-person shooter, some excellent visuals, excellent gameplay, and for $5.99, I think it's a damn good pickup, so definitely give that a look. Next up, we have Just Cause 4 Gold Edition. This is $8.99. Now, this is definitely a weaker game than Just Cause 3. Didn't enjoy it as much, but this was also a game that was kind of a train wreck when it initially came out. Then they continued to update the game, they revamped it, and they actually put out Just Cause 4 Reloaded because they wanted to get the game at a state that people could be happy with. It's still an enjoyable open world title, and again, if you like that no-nonsense Just Cause gameplay, you'll still end up liking the game. I don't know if this game has a full PS5 upgrade. I don't believe it does, like even a performance upgrade, which is a little bit of a bummer. It did come out back in 2018. Like, it is what it is. You can't expect all these games to have PS5 performance upgrades, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice. But $8.99 for that, not a bad deal. So after that, these next deals are from the Mega March sale. So these deals are wrapping up at the end of March 13th. So if you have any interest in any of these, try to pick them up as soon as possible. First of all, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, 67% off for $9.89. Got a couple of visual novel style titles on this list, and Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy is definitely like one of the more notable IPs, probably the most notable visual novel IP. Is that too much of a stretch? Like, Phoenix Wright, I feel like, has quite a lot of popularity, and this, of course, includes the 3 original games. Really, really well done games from a narrative standpoint, a lot of twists and turns. Now, keep in mind, while these games are remastered and upgraded, like, the original Phoenix Wright was like a Game Boy Advance game, so keep your expectations in line. You're really not going into visual novels for excellent visuals, but that's kind of a weird thing to say. You're not going into visual novels for the visuals, but yeah, generally speaking, you're going into visual novels for the narrative, and Phoenix Wright is quite strong in the narrative, the character department, and you're getting 3 titles here, $9.89, not a bad price there. Next up, we got OKAMI HD, 50% off for $9.99. This is one of those games that you guys pick up just to fuel my desire to one day get in OKAMI 2. Much like, you know, if you don't have Gravity Rush 2, you go buy Gravity Rush 2s just so we can help fuel the chances of a Gravity Rush 3. OKAMI is a tremendous, tremendous game, and back when it came out on the PlayStation 2, it was absolutely revered. Saw a lot of comparisons to The Legend of Zelda, and I can see why from, like, a thematic standpoint as well as some of the puzzles and whatnot. Yeah, I can see the comparison to Zelda. The visual style is phenomenal in this game, and yes, while it came out back in like 2005, 20 years later, still looks pretty damn good, and I think overall Okami is a damn good playthrough, and I would definitely give it a recommendation. And I know we have Okami on the Nintendo DS, but I mean like an Okami 2, like a legit Okami 2. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Capcom seems to be doing stuff that the, you know, gaming community wants, so we'll see. It could happen. I don't put anything past them at this point, but for now, definitely check out Okami. It's a great game, and for $9.99, I think it's a very, very good pickup. Next up, we got a couple JRPGs. Tales of Zestiria is 90% off for $5.99. They did just add this to PlayStation Plus Extra. Tales of Zestiria, in my opinion, is the weakest Tales of game, but again, Tales of is a super, super consistent franchise that even with Zestiria being the weakest in the franchise, it's still a fairly decent JRPG. It's not the Tales of game you play to get into the franchise. No, you go with an Arise, you go with a Vesperia, you go with, you know, one of those games if you want to get into the series. Zestiria, after you've played all the other games, Berseria is also a good one. After you've played all the other games, Zestiria is one you're like, all right, time to play Zestiria, and you'll probably be pleasantly surprised, because as much as people crap on this game, it's still a fairly decent game. The gameplay is pretty solid. The characters aren't as strong as some of the other Tales of games. It's probably one of the weakest rosters, especially like, yo, you look at like a Tales of Vesperia and you compare the roster of characters from Vesperia to Zestiria, it's like not even close, but you know, what can you do? $5.99 for the game is a pretty good deal, and I would give it a shout. Next up, Sakura Wars, 85% off for $8.99. Another game that if you're getting into JR, could you imagine, like, for those of you that have played Sakura Wars, could you imagine somebody who has never played JRPGs just, yeah, they're like, yeah, yo, let me go with Sakura Wars as my first JRPG that I ever played. They would be so vehemently disgusted by the genre that they would never give the genre another chance. Sakura Wars is a game that is definitely for those of you that have played quite a lot of JRPGs. It's certainly got its quirks, its tropes, and yeah, it can get a little bit corny. You kind of have to find the humor and the charm in the corniness. I think if you can find the charm in the corniness, you'll end up really enjoying Sakura Wars. It's very much, like Sakura Wars' whole shtick is, a foundational element of the game is like the relationships and the romance and that aspect of it. So just keep that in mind. But for $8.99, I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, this game was like holding up in price for quite a while, and it was not getting cheaper for sub $10. I mean, if you want like a quirky JRPG, it's a perfectly serviceable one to pick up, so not a bad price for that. Next up, we have Frostpunk Console Edition, 80% off for $5.99, also available on Plus Extra. Frostpunk is a game that I really enjoyed from 11-Bit Studios, and you guys know me. City building survival title's not really my cup of tea, but Frostpunk, I thought from a thematic and a morality standpoint, was really, really well done, where you do have to make some very difficult decisions, and that's what 11-Bit, their game design is kind of really reliant on that, in making you feel some type of way emotionally, but they really knock it out of the park as far as that's concerned, and it's a really gripping game in that regard. I can't fundamentally break down like all of the gameplay aspects and how it compares to other, you know, city builders and whatnot, but from a game standpoint, aesthetic standpoint, I think it's super, super strong. This is the base game with just the base content. There is a bunch of DLC, so keep that in mind. Frostpunk 2 is in development, and I believe it hits PC on July 25th, and then it'll come to consoles after that, but excited for that. Next up, we got Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mastered Edition, 80% off for $5.99. Absolutely dread the name of this game, and I know it makes sense, the game's in Mars, etc., etc. It's a play on words or whatever the hell, but yeah, I hate the name, but I do not hate Red Faction Guerrilla. I think Red Faction Guerrilla is an awesome game. It is an earlier open world game. It came out back in June of 2009, and I ended up really enjoying it. Look, you give a teenager a open world sandbox where you are equipped with a sledgehammer and you can destroy anything you want. Hell, screw me being a teenager. That sounds like a good old time to me right now in my late 20s. Like, think about this. Getting dropped into an open world, insane destructibility, and you got a sledgehammer at all times that you could bash holes into buildings. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty damn good time to me, and that's what you're gonna get out of Red Faction Guerrilla. As an open world game, it does show its age a little bit, but man, is it a good time. And for $5.99, I think it's a great pickup. Would definitely give that a look. Next up, we got Valkyria Chronicles 4. That is down to $5.99. I really enjoy Valkyria Chronicles as an IP. I think it's really well done in a lot of ways. I think the tactical gameplay is really rewarding. It can get a little challenging, but VC4 does it well. The characters, I wouldn't say are blowaway, but they're a well-done cast of characters that they all have their quirks, and I found them to be fairly likable. And VC4, you can jump right into it without playing VC1. I would recommend you to play VC1, but you know, what can you do? $5.99 for the game, I think, is great, so definitely give that a shout. Next up, this is a JRPG that doesn't get a lot of attention. Came out last year. That is Mato Anomalies, $9.99. Now, this is very much like a lower budget, a lower quality SMT title. That's like the best way to compare to this game and to talk about this game. That's really what it is. It has some really cool character design. The soundtrack I thought was pretty good, and the gameplay was pretty good as well. It's very much a lower budget JRPG where if you're the kind of person that you want to play a lot of JRPGs, you want to play some of the ones that go a little under the radar, Mato Anomalies is one that absolutely went under the radar. $40, way too much. $9.99, okay, we're talking, and I think that is a pretty good price. Lastly, I do want to give a shout to AI, the SOMNIUM files. That is down to $7.99, another visual novel, and really, if you want to talk about visual novels with good visuals, AI, the SOMNIUM files, pretty damn good one. I think graphically, the game looks quite good for a visual novel, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. Phenomenal main character, fantastic main character in Kaname Date. I feel like that was kind of one of the issues of the sequel, but, you know, screw the sequel for now. You can play that after you finish the first game. The first game for $7.99 is a great pickup, and I definitely would recommend it. $8, a great buy there. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available on the PlayStation Store right now. Extended Play, Mega March, under $10. Under $10 isn't one of the sales. This video just covered deals under $10, and we already did another video looking at deals under $10. That was just from the Mega March sale, and none of these deals were mentioned in that video, so you can check that out as well if you do want. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.